Media this morning announcing his bid for re-election as Maryland's governor.
The governor is highlighting a historic drop in crime, record unemployment, and cutting taxes for the middle class. He also criticized President Trump, saying he is helping billionaires at the expense of Maryland families. Now, over the weekend, Moore did tell Meet the Press that he will serve a full term as governor and not run for president. Former Republican Governor Larry Hogan, he recently made this social media post that has many wondering if he is going to run again.
7 News' John Rogers. Meanwhile, there's an election today in Virginia's 11th congressional district to fill the seat vacated by the late Congressman Jerry Connolly.
Voters in Virginia's 11th district have been without a direct voice in the House following the death of longtime Congressman Jerry Connolly. Connolly's hand-picked choice for successor, Supervisor James Walkinshaw, telling 7 News.
I hope to go to Congress to be the ally of the residents and small businesses.
While GOP challenger Stuart Whitson, a U.S. veteran and former FBI agent, wants to focus on education and school choice.
We have to lower the taxes and we have to lower the interest rate.
Polls are open until 7 p.m. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
We're likely just a day now from the formal end to the federal crackdown on crime in D.C.
The White House says federal agents have made over 2,100 arrests and have recovered more than 200 illegal guns. Meantime, D.C. Council is reacting to several bills proposed by Republican lawmakers that council members claim would weaken D.C.'s home rule while creating stricter penalties for youth and violent offenders. The council chair, Phil Mendelson, sending in this letter in opposition, signed by all 13 council members. They called the bills an unprecedented attack on the city's autonomy.
7 News' Adam Longo. Good news for Metro. Newly released data shows crime was down significantly in the system this year compared to last.
I've always felt safe in the Metro, yes.
Riders tell us safety on Metro has improved over the past few years.
I never had anything happen to me ever.
Metro says crime fell dramatically during the recent fiscal year. For every 1 million passenger trips, there were 6.5 crimes in fiscal year 2024. But in fiscal year 2025, that fell to 3.7, a drop of 43%.
7 News' Tom Rousey. Metro credits the use of special police officers walking on the trains for the drop-off in crime. 11 years to the day since her children's disappearance, Catherine Hoggle was back in a Montgomery County courtroom Monday, seeking again to avoid trial in their murders.
Hoggle's attorney filed 2 motions this week. One, seeking to have her committed through the Department of Health during court proceedings instead of jail, and another to throw out the latest indictment altogether. As for Hoggle's competency, a legal analyst tells us the judge will have to determine whether she understands her charges and can help her defense team.
7 News' Rebecca Turco. Police have arrested a 67-year-old New Jersey man and accused him of sexually assaulting an 89-year-old woman last week at a senior living facility in Manassas. Harold Edwards was discovered in the victim's room at the Paramount Senior Living Center. He had been visiting other family members there, according to police. Edwards left the facility after he was discovered, but was arrested a short time later. He's being held without bond, charged with aggravated sexual battery. The Dow futures are up 31 points. NASDAQ futures up 39. Up next, traffic and weather on WMAL.
It's easy to put off getting life insurance, but if something happens to you, will your family be protected? The last thing you want is for them to lose the house or struggle financially. With Ethos, you can get up to $2 million in coverage in as little as 10 minutes, all online. Plus, there's no medical exam. Just answer a few health questions. Ethos. Life insurance made easy. Get your free quote at ethos.com/easy. That's ethos.com/easy.
Get ready. The biggest sale in the history of Rent-A-Center is here. From September 7th through the 13th, take 50% off everything in the store or online and get our biggest savings ever. 50% off offer reduces the total amount necessary to acquire ownership pursuant to rental purchase agreement. Offer valid on new agreements entered into September 7, 2025 through September 15, 2025. Participating locations only.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain Scent Boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
WMAL traffic and weather. Jamie Whitten in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
270, no late problems, but we're still heading into Germantown. As you come out of Rockville, jammed on the spur to join the outer loop. Southbound is still slow to get past Old Georgetown Road. That crash has been over to the shoulder. Beltway through Maryland and Virginia, still thick with the rush hour delays. 66 East, heavy to merge onto the Beltway. Westbound is jammed out of the Roslyn Tunnel to the crash in Arlington, blocking the left lane of 2. Potomac River Bridge is still heavy into town. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Another clear and chilly start to the day, but it is going to be beautiful, similar to yesterday, with mostly sunny skies and mild afternoon highs in the mid to upper 70s. We will start to see a few scattered clouds build in late day. Clouds will increase overnight, and tomorrow we could even have an isolated shower. I'm 7 News meteorologist Eileen Whalen.
It is 65 at Reagan National. John Matthews, News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
I had to go to work today, Linda.
President Trump was set to speak today at the Museum of the Bible, after which it will be renamed the Museum of Lightning.
Yes. Then the audience went out and looted the local drugstore because they're Democrats.
907.
It's not about race, as the Democrats want to make it. It's just that every Democrat is a criminal. Kind of a bummer, I think. I think it should be frowned upon. I don't know when this happened, but we weren't looking for a minute, and suddenly, and a very good and happy Tuesday unto you. We remain at 888-630-9625. Sitting up this morning with my best girl long before the sun came up. I would confess we were still in bed. I had my iPad and my best girl with her laptop, and I have a little kind of tray table there, surfing through news and information, and the television is on, what with the cable and all of that, and the DVR. Have you seen these DVRs? They're pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah.
And everywhere you look, there's another crazy Democrat crime story from Los Angeles where they're fighting against immigration and customs enforcement, enforcing the laws of the United States as passed by the Congress of the United States, having to do with illegal alien gang members and criminals. And did you see in Chicago, they're doing the same thing because ICE is in there arresting. Did you see they arrested the illegal alien from Mexico who had been arrested and charged and found guilty of sexually assaulting a girl under the age of 13. And then he was released because Democrats are in charge. I'm like, what are we going to do? He's an illegal alien. You could deport his criminal child rapist ass, and you can be proud of that, but not the Democrats. They've got the governor there, the inherited billionaire circumference, J.B. Pritzker, and he is just angry, and he doesn't want to enforce the law. He doesn't want the federal government to enforce law. He wants to make sure that laws are not enforced, particularly, but not exclusively, when it comes to illegal aliens and illegal alien gang members, because Democrats and the mayor there in the once great city of Chicago, Illinois. Let's go, Brandon Johnson. He too wants to make sure that laws are not being enforced. They're against enforcing the law. They're not on our side. In Washington, D.C., my mayor, she's been better than most, I think, in saying that she will accept, even welcome, the federal law enforcement help to enforce laws since they've defunded the police and underfunded and understaffed the police.
Cracker Jack is rusty.
And in Boston, it's got a great story. I only touched on it yesterday. In Boston, we've got another Democrat on the city council there who's on her way to prison for accepting thousands in bribes in the bathroom at the City Hall building. And she is, where's she from originally, Michael? Cape Verde. Cape Verde is where she's from. I stopped there for gas one time aboard an airplane, a U.S. Air Force airplane. She's from Cape Verde, and she's not on our side. She doesn't share our cultural values. But this is kind of an amazing story. She's only going to go to prison for a month, 1 month for taking all these bribes, thousands in bribes. But it gets crazier from there because she's really something. She's a Muslim woman who wears the shador everywhere she goes. And her brother, she has a brother also. And it's kind of an amazing story because I think he's the one in prison for murder, right? Isn't he the one in prison for murder, her brother? The Democrat family is not what it used to be. It's not exactly Leave It to Beaver when you're hanging out with the Democrats. Amazing stuff. So they're fighting against crime fighting. You want to arrest illegal aliens sitting in parks who have been convicted of sexually assaulting a girl under the age of 13 who's in the country illegally, and he's not being deported after he's found guilty and sentenced. And then they just release him and they put him back on the street because the Democrat Party is pro-crime. There's really no other way around it. We've got the mayor, used to be a member of Congress of Los Angeles, Karen Bass, who is angrily lashing out at the Trump administration because they want to enforce immigration laws and get criminals off the street. And the Democrats say, not as long as I'm here, pal. We're going to keep more criminals on the street. Isn't that amazing? So the, what's it called? Operation Midway Blitz going on in Chicago with Immigration Customs Enforcement. Democrats are against enforcing law. They think it might frighten the criminals. And by the way, illegal immigration is illegal. But pay no attention to that. Because the Democrat Party certainly doesn't. We've got extraordinary things going on.
Why do you do things to get timed out? You sound just like Wiggin. You're repeating Wiggins' exact words. Wiggin kicked you off his panel, didn't he, yesterday? For being an idiot, saying shit to Dot. This is why, right? That motherfucker trashed Melinda, and you're up there and you're sucking his fucking cock. Check this out, kiddos. You said, oh, I used to like Billy, so tell me, why don't you like me now then?
I don't like you, Billy.
Why? Why is it important that you like me? Listen, you're a fucking failed streamer. You're a failed streamer, and you fucking went to drug rehab and all that shit. You're a fucking menace. You think you matter? Why don't you do something to make yourself matter? Don't go to Billy's because all you do is get timed out. What do you think Wiggin does at his fucking chat? You're an ignorant motherfucker, kiddos. You're an ignorant motherfucker.
That's a pretty good sign.
Now I'm going to go back to my radio program and listen to the news. Fuck you, kiddos. You just wait. You might as well put on a fucking diaper because you're a big ass fucking blat ass. Now you got me pissed at you, kiddos. I fucking tried with you. I tried with you. Melinda, I can't believe you're with this fucking creep. All the fucking trash talking Wiggin and JC did on you, Linda, and look at this motherfucker. Disgusting. Live with that thought for today, kiddos, you dumb fucker. Yeah, you too, you stupid fuck.
And the news media say if you draw attention to it, it's because you're a racist. Now, the nigger, a black guy, schizophrenic, at least 14 arrests in his past. How many arrests do you have, Michael? Just two. He says just two. That's not bad. And it's not 14. And I know there's three. He's always been kind. He's never said a bad word. But as long as you don't count
if he did, I'd class him up straight away, right?
But remarkable things, the Democrat Party, they're here watching this morning because Ryan Ruth, you know who Ryan Ruth is? It's hard to keep track of all these news names. It's like following Major League Baseball in a league that you never heard of before. But Ryan Ruth is the Democrat that was arrested in Florida. He was in the bushes along the edge of President Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida, with a rifle, a Chinese rifle, with the serial number scraped off, and he had a past offense. He's a felon, so he's not allowed to have a gun. But he had the illegal gun with the serial number scraped off, and he was arrested because Secret Service found him, and then Patrick Boggle spotted the crazy guy running from and getting in his car and racing away. So he's in custody. But Ryan Ruth, he's due in court again today. Jury selection is ongoing, and he is, he's another hero of the Democrat Party, isn't he? He's not on our side. And it turns out Ryan Ruth, yesterday he was in court, started part of jury selection. He wants to represent himself because he's a Democrat and they're better than everybody else. And Ryan Ruth was there. His son, his grown son, and his grown daughter were in the courtroom with him. His other son couldn't make it because he's in prison. His son, Oran, is in prison for child porn because it's a Democrat family. So the guy that tried to shoot President Trump, not the guy that did shoot President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania at the rally there, but a second Democrat, and not to be confused with the Idaho Democrat that was arrested for threatening to kill President Trump because, you got to keep your eyes on these people. But Ryan Ruth, who showed up with a rifle at the golf course and he wanted to assassinate President Trump. His son couldn't make it to court yesterday. Oran, his name is Oran because Ryan Ruth named his son Oran, and Oran is in prison for child porn. And I thought, well, that's kind of crazy, isn't it? And now the Democrats, they've got all kinds of heroes like Luigi Mangione, who gunned down a healthcare insurance CEO, Brian Thompson, on the sidewalk in New York. He's a hero. All the Democrats want their sons and daughters to date him. They want their daughters and sons to date him because, they don't care. They just want, how they are. George Floyd, their hero. Their hero is George Floyd. He died of cardiac failure while resisting arrest in Minneapolis. And the Democrats burned down half the country for that. But now, honestly, if you've got a young woman, a Ukrainian refugee, 23 years old, who's massacred by DeCarlos Brown Jr. and stabbed to death this Ukrainian refugee, Irina Zarutska. And Irina Zarutska was savagely murdered. Other people on the train apparently tried to save her and stop the bleeding, but couldn't because the schizophrenic, mentally ill, career criminal Democrat, he cut her so good, DeCarlos Brown did. So now the Democrats have a new hero. In addition to Ryan Ruth and Luigi Mangione and George Floyd, now they've got DeCarlos Brown, who murdered Irina Zarutska from Ukraine. And isn't that okay? And the hero, again, with Luigi Mangione, he murdered a healthcare CEO named Brian Thompson, a normal, successful, married father of children who was just gunned down for nothing. And the Democrats applaud him. It reminded me of their love affair this morning when I was looking at with Zhokar Tsarnaev. Remember Zhokar Tsarnaev? That was the Boston Marathon bombing, Zhokar Tsarnaev. And he ended up running over his brother, Tamerlan, and killing his brother, Tamerlan, while he was trying to escape the police. And he was, they put Zhokar Tsarnaev on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. And they love him very much. And he's still alive and well. He's got girlfriends in prison, I think, because the Democrats, isn't that amazing? And they've got heroes, Sean Charles Dunn. Anybody remember Sean? Usually when you use three names, it's because they're an assassin, like Lee Harvey Oswald and James Earl Ray and all that stuff, John Wilkes Booth. Sean Charles Dunn, he's the guy that threw the Subway sandwich at the federal officer in Washington a few weeks ago on video. And he was brought before a grand jury, and the D.C. grand jury said, nah, we're good with that. We're going to let him walk. Because the Democrats love crime. They want more of it, and everything they do demonstrates that they want more crime. So I'm looking at the Democrat Party and their heroes, and I'm thinking, should a political party be judged by their heroes? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, they should be. And when their heroes are Zhokar Tsarnaev and George Floyd and Luigi Mangione and Ryan Ruth and now and wait till you hear them. So DeCarlos Brown, who murdered Irina Zarutska, he's not a hero of the Democrat Party. Wait till you hear the news media today. Defending him, deflecting for him, calling anybody racist who brings up the murder, the savage murder by the schizophrenic career criminal Democrat DeCarlos Brown, murder of Irina Zarutska. Now, why isn't Irina Zarutska's name front and center in every living room today, like George Floyd's name was when George Floyd died of cardiac failure while resisting arrest with fentanyl coursing through his veins? the Democrats, with their information dominance, they, of course, made George Floyd a hero. The police officer, Derek Chauvin, was put into prison for life. And in prison, he was stabbed 22 times by a Democrat because the Democrat Party does that sort of thing. They do it a lot. Listen, we've got a lot of Democrat crazy news. Just remarkable stuff. And the Democrats are also very angry that President Trump removed a lunatic who's been living in Lafayette Park across from the White House since 1981, like in a cardboard box with a shopping cart. And the Democrats, oh, no, it's a legitimate protest. No, he's another mentally ill Democrat, and he, bringing the fire hoses. But President Trump removed it, and now the Democrats are very angry because they say, hey, that's First Amendment protest. I've got a solution for that. I've got an alternate plan for that, and I want to share that with you coming up because if the guy living in a cardboard box in Lafayette Park since 1981 is a legitimate protester exercising his First Amendment rights, then I've got an idea. I've got an idea about Lafayette Park and how we could all use it. Now we can all use Lafayette Park as a campground. I've got that idea coming up. We're at 888-630-9625.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. 95 is just about cleared out between Dale City and Springfield, but that's where the delays begin north on 95 to join the inner loop through Annandale and Tyson's. 395 slows past King Street to and across the 14th Street Bridge. Arlington crash cleanup continues. 66 westbound after you come out of the Roslyn Tunnel to the left lane of 2 blocked. Still have plenty of Beltway delays, but now the road work is set up. Outer loop on the American Legion Bridge that blocks the left lane. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com. The WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Windows down weather today. Sunshine, pleasant with a high of 78. Mostly cloudy overnight, low 57.
The jackpots continue to soar. Go to any New York Lottery retailer today for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot, over $150 million. Or play for your chance to win the Mega Millions jackpot, over $200 million. Please play responsibly.
This ad is brought to you by GSK. Have you considered starting Ojara momelotinib for your appropriate patients? Review the efficacy of Ojara, including data from our head-to-head trials, Simplify One and Momentum at startojara.com. That's startojara.com.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the things that just will never come out.
I have a few brains in my head. I'm not the most intelligent guy in the world.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
But I don't want to get a flu shot.
You don't want to get the flu again. It's just a teensy little poke. Hi guys, I know you don't like needles, so I brought Fuzzy.
What is that?
It's a device that uses vibration and ice to help take the sting out of shots.
See, hon, that wasn't so bad. Wait, you did it already?
Yep, Fuzzy helps, and Kinney is the only pharmacy that has it.
I'm going to tell everyone I know.
Great. They can schedule online at KinneyDrugs.com.
Get ready. The biggest sale in the history of Rent-A-Center is here. From September 7th to the 13th, take 50% off everything in the store or online and get our biggest savings ever.
You don't need me to spot you 20. That's very common.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement. Attention shoppers. If you want a real
we have the lottery over here, right?
For watered down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content from the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meter beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union. Mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
Let's move. We have soccer practice, dance, and a play date.
Life moves fast, so every second counts, especially when it comes to big decisions like buying a car. That's why searching through Navy Federal's car buying service powered by TrueCar is a perfect place to start.
Thanks, Mom.
Navy Federal can help you find and finance the right vehicle so you can go wherever life takes you. Visit NavyFederal.org/TrueCar to learn more. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA. Credit and collateral subject to approval.
WMAL's Prince Colonnade, weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Billy Wiggins.
By the way, the Democrats did set up a GoFundMe page for the Charlotte train murderer of the Ukrainian refugee to raise money for him because they want to marry him. The Democrat Party wants to date him. GoFundMe eventually took down the GoFundMe page for DeCarlo Brown. But the Democrats, they try. You got to look where their efforts go. Let's go to the telephones, Michael. It's a big election day going, a special election in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And today is the last day to vote. Let's go to Glenn, calling from Fairfax County, Virginia. Glenn, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Thank you, Chris, for taking my call. Briefly, just to tell you what happened here, just a few minutes ago, my wife and I went to vote at our normal polling place.
In the special election for the Jerry County House seat. And who are you voting for?
Well, we're going to vote for the Republican. And we show up, and as we're walking in the door, we meet another couple coming out, and they're like, there's no voting here. They told us there's no voting here. So my wife looks at me, and she says, what do you think we ought to do? And I said, well, let's go down. We live on the eastern side of Fairfax County in the Mount Vernon area. I said, let's go down to Route 1 to the Woodlawn area to the government center. And so we drive down there, we walk in, the security personnel direct us to an office that has nothing to do with voting, it's a financial office. We walk in, there's a lady, she says, hold on a second, there's someone on the phone, she says, are you here to vote? I said, yes ma'am, we are. She says, well, I'm on a gentleman who's trying to figure out where to go vote. I said, that's why we're here. So we ended up leaving, and we don't know what we're going to do. What we assume is we have to go out to Western Fairfax to the main government center, but we have no idea. We're not the only people who are trying to get out and vote today that are confused and don't know where to go.
In the Virginia 11th District, today is the last day to vote. There was lots of early voting available and all that stuff, but Stuart Whitson is the Republican candidate for that seat, vacated by the now late Jerry Conley, who was there for a great many years. Stuart Whitson, and this is a big opportunity to flip a Democrat seat. And now the sense I get from you, Glenn, is you're thinking that there is something unsavory going on here.
Well, my opinion is it's voter suppression. There are elderly people who probably cannot make it out there to the main government center if that's where we have to vote.
But you don't know where. Well, don't give up and not vote. Please don't do that. There are also absentee ballots and all that stuff. But today is election day in the Virginia 11th.
This is the Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Crash in Arlington is westbound 66 after you come out of the Roslyn Tunnel. The left lane is 2 block. Eastbound 66 at the Beltway crash cleanup that was giving us some slowdowns as well. Road crews are set up on the American Legion Bridge. Outer loop block on the left lane jammed off the 270 and out of Bethesda. Utility crews on River Road outside of the Beltway. Traffic alternates to get you past Bradley Boulevard. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Windows down weather today. Sunshine, pleasant with a high of 78. Mostly cloudy overnight, low 57.
Get ready. The biggest sale in the history of Rent-A-Center is here. From September 7th through the 13th, take 50% off everything in the store or online and get our biggest savings ever.
50% off offer reduces the total amount necessary to acquire ownership pursuant to rent purchase agreement. Offer valid on new agreements and until September 7th, 2025 to September 15th, 2025. Anticipating locations only.
So when a man says the best thing that happened to me is done, and the reason is because she
want to get a flu shot.
and looks after his kids,
To get the
he said,
flu again.
Alexander,
It's just a teensy little poke. Hi guys, I know you don't like noodles, so I brought Fuzzy.
What is that?
It's a device that uses vibration and ice to help take the sting out of shots.
See, hun, that wasn't so bad.
Wait, you did it already?
Yep, Fuzzy helps. And Kinney is the only pharmacy that has him.
I'm going to tell everyone I know.
Great. They can schedule online at KinneyDrops.com.
It's Sunshine Savings at Wicked Auto Sales, a used car leader. Plenty of late model vehicles with low miles on the lot right now, like a loaded 2016 Lincoln MKX, only $15,999, or a 2020 Acura TLX, beautiful, low miles, just $27,999. A 2018 Toyota 4Runner, 59,000 miles, would look perfect in your driveway. Hey, the sun is shining at Wicked Auto Sales in Ottawa, Washington Street. It's even online at WickedAutoSales.com. The used car leader. The new pediatric team at Community Health Center of the North Country understands your kids are the most important things in your life. And each one of them is unique in their own way. This means care needs to be personalized for each son or daughter you bring through the doors at our Ogdensburg Health Center. Dr. Sunny Patel accepting new patients now and providing that personalized pediatric care for every stage of your child's life. Visit chcnorthcountry.org for more information.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news, there's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar Plant Protein Bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ Bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, high nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code TASTE for 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code TASTE.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would it leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection on the drivetrain, AC, and more. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value free.
For your free quote, go to EnduranceWarranty.com. That's EnduranceWarranty.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was.
I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/day to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/day for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior and military discount. One discount per household.
WMAL, making sense of the forecast. Because you never know what Mother Nature has in store. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Oh, God. Look at her. She's like, why are you doing this to me? I like my clothes.
Big news out of the Middle East. Israel has carried out a strike in Doha, in Qatar, which is pronounced Qatar and not gutter or gutter. It's Qatar because we speak English and it's the English pronunciation of Qatar. Qatar. But in Doha, the capital city, they're all gleaming skyscrapers, tall glass and steel buildings built by Europeans and Americans. The Israelis have carried out a strike and they have knocked off a top Hamas official who has been given safe haven by the Qataris for a long time now. But the Israelis carried out a strike, and it's causing much upheaval because, kind of like Democrats here in the United States, the Islamists believe you're supposed to leave their murderers alone. Just let them be. Because, you know, these guys, I'm telling you, the difference between Al-Qaeda and ISIS, right there, let's just say ISIS and the Democrat Party, the difference is narrowing and narrowing, becoming more and more indistinguishable. But the Reuters news agency reporting out of Qatar, several blasts heard in Qatar's Doha, Axios says. I guess Reuters is reporting what Axios is reporting. It is a circle fest in a hot tub, isn't it? Several blasts heard in Qatar, Doha. Israeli media says Hamas leadership targeted. They're pretty good at this sort of thing. Israeli Army radio says Israel tried to attack Hamas officials in Qatar on Tuesday. That's today. What do you mean tried to? I think they're pretty good at this, aren't they? They've done this before, not their first whatever. Qatar's Al Jazeera television, citing a Hamas source, said the attack targeted Hamas Gaza ceasefire negotiators. Wasn't that like 2.5 years ago that they took the hostages? For how many years are the discussions with these troglodytes, these blood-drenched savages, for how many years are the discussions supposed to go on? Several blasts were heard, right, in Qatar's Doha. And the Israeli media saying, oh, yeah, we're targeting the top Hamas leadership that are given safe haven in Doha, Qatar, including Khalil al-Hayya, the Gaza chief. And that's okay because they just murder and rape and kidnap and torture to death and throw you in tunnels and leave you to die and hold on to your, they're holding 30 dead hostages now. That's one of the things that they're doing. Man, oh Manischewitz. I don't know what's going on with that. We just had, what do we have? We had 5 lines and then suddenly all 5 lines disappeared. I don't know how that happened. That's kind of peculiar, isn't it? Never see that. That's really weird. Maybe it's the NSA. But the several blasts heard, so that's kind of an interesting story. And they've named the guy, and he's a senior Hamas leader who's living a life of luxury in a 4 Seasons hotel or something in Doha, Qatar. Isn't that amazing? But the Israelis went in there and killed him because they're not messing around. Now, with that said, and speaking of the Middle East and military action, this is a wild story that popped last night. And I've got to tell you, when I first saw it, I didn't believe it. I thought, this is fake news. This can't be true. And I kept checking on it last night, and finally I was up till 12:30, midnight 30 last night, and up at 5 a.m. this morning. But that's not important now. Here's the headline from the New York Post. Iran-Contra figures. Oliver North, Colonel Oliver North, the United States Marine Corps, great American, met him a number of times. And Fawn Hall. Remember Fawn Hall, the beautiful blonde woman who was working actually working for Oliver North in the National Security Council during the Reagan administration. And she became famous when a reporter brought her to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I think that was 1987. That was my first White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I met Oliver North several times, met Fawn Hall a couple of times. But here's the story. Iran-Contra figures, Oliver North and Fawn Hall secretly married. They got married 40 years after scandal. There was a scandal of some kind, apparently. Oh, yeah, that Iran-Contra thing that's back when we were on our side. Oliver North and his loyal former secretary, Fawn Hall, reportedly married in secret last month, 40 years after their leading roles in the infamous Iran-Contra affair. A copy of the couple's marriage license, obtained by journalist Michael Isikoff, shows Oliver North, 81 years old, and Fawn Hall, 65 years old, were married in Arlington County, Virginia, on August 27th. That's not so long ago, is it? That's just a couple of weeks ago. It was a secret marriage, a friend of the newlyweds told Michael Isikoff, who used to be a news reporter. Oliver North, a retired Marine Corps lieutenant colonel, was a member of President Ronald Reagan's National Security Council, where in the late 1980s, he was accused of facilitating illegal weapons sales to Iran. The scheme, remember, there were hostages and there were all kinds of things going on, and the Ayatollahs and the Democrats. They remember Jimmy Carter said, hey, maybe we should let Iran roll over to the Ayatollahs and abandon the Shah of Iran, Reza Pahlavi, because maybe it'll go better then. And so Jimmy Carter made that decision. And we, the United States, the people of Iran, and the people of the world, certainly the people of the Middle East, are still dealing with the consequences of that decision-making by Democrat President Jimmy Carter. Man, oh, Manischewitz. The scheme was aimed at encouraging Iran-backed militants in Lebanon to release American hostages, while proceeds from the arms sales were diverted to support the Contra rebels in Nicaragua, because the Democrats were on the side of the Sandinistas then, on the side of the communists, and the Democrats were on the side of the Ayatollahs then, and Ronald Reagan and Oliver North were not on the side of the Sandinistas in Nicaragua and in Central America. The Republicans, Ronald Reagan and Colonel North and Fawn Hall, I believe, were all on the side of the Contras fighting against the Soviet communism and spreading their influence to Central America so they could murder more people in our backyard. But the Reagan administration, Colonel North, were not in favor of the Sandinistas. The Democrats were. They were camped out with the Sandinistas. And in Iran, the Reagan administration was not in favor of the Ayatollahs. They were, you had a choice of two in this case. The Shah of Iran, Reza Pahlavi. I actually ran into Reza Pahlavi Jr. very recently at Newsmax and had a nice talk with the son of the Shah of Iran just a couple of months ago, actually. Very nice man. I had met him once in California 40 years ago or something, but that's another story. So this is a big, big story that Oliver North, this is amazing, 81 years old, married a couple of weeks ago. Fawn Hall, 65 years old, and I bet she looks wonderful. I don't see a picture of her here from very recently. She's been minding her own business for a long, long time. But Colonel North, a great American hero and a fighter for civilization. And again, I met him a few times. I spent election night. He ran for Senate in Virginia. He unfortunately did not win. And I was with CNN at the time. I spent the evening at Colonel North's headquarters, his campaign headquarters on election night. I believe it was in Richmond, Virginia. But But this is kind of an amazing story that they got married. And it turns out Colonel North got married. They're both single. They were both single. Now they're both married. But going back and forth on this with a number of friends that know a lot about these things. And Colonel North married his wife, Betsy, in 1967. And Colonel Oliver North and his wife, Betsy, were together and happily married until last year. And Betsy passed away last year. And Oliver North, now a widower. Also, Fawn Hall had been married, and her husband passed away several years ago now. They're both as widow and widower. And Oliver North and Fawn Hall got married in Virginia a couple of weeks ago. That is, I got to tell you, that is the most amazing. It's just, life never ceases to amaze. And this is a story that just amazes me. And I've got to say, I think they're both good people and nice people. I have nothing negative to say about either one of them. The Democrats are crazy people, of course, but this is a pretty amazing story that they were married in Virginia a couple of weeks ago. How can that be? Just extraordinary. Yeah. And both widow and widower now happily married once again at the ages of 81 for Colonel North, and I keep repeating that, and 65 for Fawn Hall, and I bet she looks wonderful. And I wish them nothing but happiness and great things for them. And I think it's just a wow story. When I saw it last night, I said that can't be. That's not the case. But it turns out it's true. And this fake reporter, Michael Isikoff, who's a Democrat wanker, he got the story first, apparently. Amazing stuff. Yeah. My friend Pat sent me this last night. Pretty early, I guess. 7:52 p.m. I'm looking at the text thread, the text message. And he said, a friend just texted me this. It has to be crap, right? Like you can't believe it. And he said, my friend Pat says, Terry and I hit on her with such charm at the 1987 White House Correspondents' Dinner that she swore off men forever. That's what he said, that she swore. As my two friends said they hit on her at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I think I met her at that White House Correspondents' Dinner, too, at Ronald Reagan White House Correspondents' Dinner at the Hilton Hotel in Washington, D.C. But I said, I got to tell you, that would instantly become the wildest political story in the history of American politics, if true. And he said something about John F. Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe. I said, well, yeah, that's kind of an interesting political story, too. But that's, I don't know, not as interesting as Oliver North and Fawn Hall marrying at this stage. Pretty extraordinary stuff, I've got to say. But then I said, yeah, sure. I mean, it can't be true, right? The story I was saying last night can't be true. Womp, womp, womp. Said a couple of other things to my friends that I won't share here because it would be inappropriate. And when I say it would be inappropriate, what I mean is, all right, so we have that. So congratulations and mazel tov to Oliver North, Colonel Oliver North, and to Fawn Hall. And I wish them nothing but, happiness. I think that's quite an extraordinary story. And then we've got a Phillies, the Phillies Karen, the Philadelphia Phillies baseball game at Miami over the weekend, where the Democrat lady stormed over and stole the baseball from the little kid, right? We still apparently don't know the name. Isn't that right? We still don't know the name of the Phillies Karen that stole the baseball from the kid. He was there for his birthday at a professional baseball game. A home run hit into the stands near them. Dad ran over past some open seats and grabbed the ball. And then Phillies Karen, as she is known, that's mean to people named Karen. But Philly, now here's the update, and she ran over and took the ball, and she's become kind of famous. And it's amazing that she's still anonymous at this point. I find that hard to believe. But here's the headline from The Mirror. And that's a newspaper from another country where they speak English. And here's the fun update that I saw this morning. The New York Times has the story too, but they're quite annoying. The New York Times headline, company offers $5,000 for ball Phillies fan took from kid if it's inscribed, "I'm sorry." Now, I've got to say, that's kind of funny. And I think that I like these people. The Mirror has that line, Phillies Karen offered $5,000 for controversial home run ball with one condition. Phillies Karen has gone viral on social media for denying a young baseball fan Harrison Bader's home run baseball. But Blowout Cards, that's their name, Blowout Cards has offered her, the lady that stole the ball angrily, stamped her feet and went away. They've offered her $5,000 for the ball if she apologizes. That was the audio we just played of her yelling at Dad. And Dad has taken a lot of grief, too, because the way he shook his arms when the lady came. She came up and she grabbed him. She grabbed his arm. She laid hands on. She touched him. She was there to be really, really aggressive. He said she was cursing her foul mouth off with his kids right there, and he was upset by that and didn't like it at all. And he was shocked that he did that little arm shake thing, didn't he? Did the arm shake thing. And everybody's been going back and forth about that stuff too, right? Because there's all kinds of fun stuff going on with that. But the one of the funny things about that, a friend of mine texted me. Who was it? It was Tim, I think. Texted me. He said, it's amazing that persnickety father ever procreated at all. See the guy who shook his arms like this? I'm going like this. Like, oh, when she grabbed his arm. He was having a nice little fatherly moment when this crazy Phillies fan, she makes Philly fans look bad. Isn't that bad? And that's kind of a hard thing to do. But a friend of mine texted, it's amazing that persnickety father ever procreated at all. His hand gestures evoke Jack Tripper. What's that show? Three's Company? Three's Company. His hand gestures evoke Jack Tripper on Three's Company, trying to assure Mr. Roper that he has no designs on either Janet or Chrissy. Now that's a generational thing, but that's a very funny line, because Jack Tripper was not very manly at all, and it was assumed that he was gay, right, in the TV show, and he was living with two attractive women. And the only way they could do it is because the landlord was convinced that he was gay, so he would allow it, right? So his hand gestures evoke Jack Tripper, trying to reassure Mr. Roper that he has no designs on either Janet or Chrissy. So he's taking a beating too. But I think this is a lot of fun that Blowout Cards has offered Phillies Karen $5,000 for the baseball, but she has to write on it, "I'm sorry." That's funny. And a good promotion for the company.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. If you take River Road outside of the Beltway, an unusual jam up eastbound trying to get to Bradley Boulevard. Eastbound lanes are closed with utility work, alternating using the westbound side. That's what's causing that delay. Crossing the American Legion Bridge. Road work is set up in each direction, blocking the left lane. Major tie-ups outer loop coming out of Bethesda and off of the spur. Into Arlington, westbound 66 for the crash after the Roslyn Tunnel blocks the left lane. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Windows down weather today. Sunshine, pleasant with a high of 78. Mostly cloudy overnight, low 57.
But I don't want to get a flu shot.
You don't want to get the flu again. It's just a teensy little poke. Hi, guys. I know you don't like needles, so I brought Fuzzy.
What is that?
It's a device that uses vibration and ice to help take the sting out of shots. See, hun, that wasn't so bad.
Wait, you did it already?
Yep, Fuzzy helps. And Kenny is the only pharmacy that has it.
I'm going to tell everyone I know.
Great. They can schedule online at kennydrugs.com.
When we ask home service pros about their challenges, we can sound a bit repetitive. Can't get quotes out fast enough? Jobber can help. Trouble finding new customers? Jobber can help. Spending too much time chasing checks? Jobber can help. Working every night? You get the idea. Jobber helps you organize, automate, and grow your home service business. Start your free trial today at jobber.com.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Tropical Smoothie Cafe welcomes you to Tropic Time. I'll be your concierge. Our beach bites, including made-to-order wraps and bowls, are full of tropic vibes. And our fresh from the blender smoothies make you feel absolutely radiant. It's like a wellness retreat for your taste buds. You're on Tropic Time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Have breakfast plans at Tropical Smoothie Cafe, putting your protein bowls into breeze. With our smoothies, bowls, crafts, and dips featuring up to 32 grams of protein.
I'm Brent, and I've been on Nutrafol for almost 5 years now. When my hair first started thinning, I wanted to attack the problem head on. I liked Nutrafol because it was a hair growth supplement that was completely drug-free. After 3 months, my hair got stronger and thicker, which gave a huge boost to my social life. I mean, it was life-changing, to be honest.
Start your hair growth journey at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com/NEN. Real customers were compensated to share their stories.
This week on Sports News, football's newest star ain't no rookie. It's DirecTV. They make it easy to find your pro and college teams across live TV and streaming apps, so you'll never miss a moment. And with access to your game stats and scores in one place, it's good. It's DirecTV like you've never seen it. Visit DirecTV.com today. Internet connected Gemini device and separate subscription is required. New residential customers are only use monthly. Cancel anytime. Equipment is required. On the same device is required. Credit card restrictions apply.
But I don't want to get a flu shot.
You don't want to get the flu again. It's just a teensy little poke. Hi guys, I know you don't like needles, so I brought Fuzzy.
What is that?
It's a device that uses vibration and ice to help take the sting out of the See, hon, that wasn't so bad.
Wait, you did it already?
Fuzzy helps, and Kenny is the only pharmacy that has it.
I'm going to tell everyone I know.
Right. They can schedule online at kennydrugs.com.
WMAL, making sense of the roads, because traffic doesn't always follow the pattern. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Alright, you be back in 5 minutes. Yeah, you just say it. We'll do what you want. I'm gonna rub one.
Another wild story that I wasn't able to get to yesterday because they gave me too much stuff. Oh yeah, by the way, Glenn, the Fairfax County Republican Party contacted us and said you should go to Fairfax GOP, fairfaxgop.org, and there's voter info. I just went there. You punch in your zip code or your address, and they'll tell you where your nearest polling place is, provided that you're in the 11th district geographically. So please, you do that. There are polling places, but you might have to hunt a little bit. Now, here is a crazy story, but I don't think I've got enough time to get to the whole story here. The New York Post has the story, and the Washington Post does not. The New York Times does not. But Claire Shipman, who was an ABC News reporter for a long time, and before that, a CNN reporter, and I worked with her when she was a CNN reporter. And then she married the Democrat Jay Carney, right, who was the White House press secretary under Barack Hussein Obama. Well, Claire Shipman then she recently became the president of Columbia University, because who else would you pick to be the president of Columbia University. Well, I just shared with you the Oliver North Fawn Hall wedding news, and I have more wedding news to share, but there's a bit of a wrinkle here with the Claire Shippen now divorced from Jay Carney, who was a news reporter, of course, and then a Democrat White House press secretary. And his then wife, no longer wife, Claire Shipman. Stick around for this.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9.
News at 10 in the morning. I'm John Matthews. In the past hour, or actually earlier this morning, Maryland Governor Wes Moore dropped an online video to formally announce he's running for a second term.
What's going on, Maryland? So listen, when I launched my campaign for governor 4 years ago, I had never run for political office before. My background is...
Moore is not expected to be challenged by any Democrats, but the race is drawing attention from some Republican challengers, and former Governor Larry Hogan is flirting with a run as well next year. Stay tuned. With 1 day left in the formal federal crackdown on D.C. crime, more than a dozen members of Congress have entered bills to essentially codify the president's order into law.
We believe that our laws affecting the district should be made by the district.
Now, we can tell you that more than 3,200 law enforcement officers from dozens of agencies are part of this operation and have been for weeks. Now, 7 News has been pressing Mayor Bowser about the end of this emergency operation, which, again, the deadline is tomorrow. She said she would give an update in the coming days.
7 News' John Gonzalez. If you're a tourist visiting the mall and its surroundings today, you might wonder where all the danger is.
We walked around the Capitol and we said, oh, well, they're really here.
Stephen Horowitz and Rachel Koretsky noticed them on their second day in town.
Kiddles. What are you going to do, Kiddles? I told you. I fucking warned you. I'm coming up here, but you can post in my side chat. Go ahead.
Doesn't seem to need it as much as some of the other inner cities that they're talking about, like Baltimore and Oakland, where we're from.
7 News' Josh Chapin. New details emerging about the suspect charged with the murder of a Ukrainian refugee in North Carolina.
We know more about this suspect this morning. We know that he had spiraled into psychiatric and criminal crisis and yet was allowed to provide a written promise that he would show back up to court after his most recent arrest. Of course, that did not happen. And by that time, DeCarlos Brown Jr. had been in and out of courts and jails for a decade. So what did 23-year-old Irina Zaruska do?
You know, Wiggin, you called me out to your chat. Call me out to your chat. You call me out to your chat. And people in there running their fucking mouth. And I come to your panel. And you let Patrick Rowe right up there. Just exactly what you cried about what JC does. Every time I go up there, JC lets this one up there. JC, you did it with Shannon when you first, you know. My fucking hair. Gee, my phone's ringing. I wonder who that is. Yeah, I remember all the arguments about that. You go up on JC's and she lets people up there to attack you. You fucking bitched about that all the time, Wiggin. And then you did it to me. I knew you were going to do it anyways. I knew you were going to do that. You don't have the balls to talk to me one-on-one like a fucking man. No, kiddos, you're not coming up on my panel. I fucking warned you. All right? We can kick you for the same thing. You run in your suck fuck. Insulting. But it's okay for kiddo or for Wiggin. He does it. All right? But you know better than him because, he'll take you right back. He likes reinstating people for some fucking reason. Here, you get one fucking chance. One, with me, it's one. It's all I have, one chance. Fuck you, Wiggin. You don't know jack shit. You don't know how much money I have in the bank. You don't know who my friends are, how many I have, if my family is involved with me or not. You can only go by what shit I say. When I brought up about my sister, JC, Ma's living at the house. Yeah. She fucking called cops on me for taking Mom a cigarette. I mean, she wanted a cigarette. Fucking freakiest thing happened to me. My mother calls me and she's crying. The girls won't let me have a cigarette. Like, what? And she'd been in a hospital. And then JC gets on the phone, my sister JC. She's got burn marks on her shirt. Well, watch her. That's what you're supposed to be fucking doing. My mother gave my sister JC the middle finger that day. It's the first time I ever see her do that. You don't know jack shit, JC. Right? They're always fucking crying for begging for fucking apology and shit. Fuck you, JC. I am your competition, JC. Only I attract a different audience. You got all the fucking dregs of YouTube chat over there. Good people have been coming to my chat. Whatever happened to you're not getting between me and Wiggin, JC? Remember when you did that for a while? Why do you think way back in December I wasn't cloning you or anything? But you and your fucking idiot still did it, and you sat there and laughed with them. So you're not sincere, JC. You're not a strong woman, JC. You're not. Rusty's a strong woman. Hey, Wiggin, I think it's time that you stop recording me and saying shit. Because you know what's going to happen? I'm going to set it up, and you're going to get reported, and I'm going to get you in trouble. Because I'm sick of your ass. You want to fucking talk about me and shit? Nah, you better talk to me also. You didn't give me the courtesy. Come up on your panel. Still haven't done it yet since I started streaming. Talk to me one-on-one. That was probably you that just called my number. I'm sure you've given my number out. And then there's Alicia. If you think Angie is a deadbeat mom, she's just poor. Had a baby, was okay then because when they're an infant like that, but she didn't want it. She's lazy. I don't know what man ever got with her, but he must have realized he made a big fucking mistake. Wiggin, why is the mother of your children fucking a drug addict? Been in and out of rehab, still in rehab, still doing drugs. Hard drugs. Not just having a drink and smoking a joint. Your fucking new girlfriend, she takes bennies. She takes painkillers. Painkillers are a depressant. Dumb fucker. Then you guys go snort cocaine. No wonder your face all caved in. Your best example of what cocaine use does to a person, Wiggin. No, Alicia's changing their diapers now. I don't have to do that. Like I said, it's sad that your daughter is the way she is. She doesn't realize what a piece of shit you are, Wiggin.
Because there's news that Claire Shipman has remarried, and isn't that amazing? So he was married to Claire Shipman. Apparently, they had two children, and then there was this upheaval over all of the Jew hatred at Columbia University, where Barack Obama went to school. Barack Hussein Obama went to school, and so they brought in Claire Shipman to be the president of Columbia University, where she had gone to college many years earlier, and I thought, oh, isn't that fascinating? They brought in Claire Shipman, my erstwhile CNN colleague, to become the president, and they're still calling her the acting president of Columbia University, right? But now there is a story that I didn't get to it yesterday, but here it is. New York Post: Columbia University prez engaged to former soccer star. Isn't that fascinating? Hey, Claire Shipman, my old colleague Claire Shipman, she got married again. I guess she's not married to Jay Kearney anymore. According to her Wikipedia page, it says that she was married to Jay Kearney in 1998 and then divorced in 2025. That's a long time, isn't it? That's like 27 years or something. Quite a long time. 1998 to 2025 when they were divorced. And they had two children together. Procreating, they're breeders, and so I saw this and I saw, I didn't even know that they were divorced, but now I see they're divorced, and I read the story with great interest, and I said, here's the story from the New York Post. They get a kick out of each other. Columbia University acting president Claire Shipman is engaged to a former pro soccer star and coach, named Katie Jo Spizak. The Lovebirds met in 2021 when Claire Shipman, 62, was promoting her book, The Confidence Code, The Science and Art of Self-Assurance, What Women Should Know. Turns out there's more that women should know, because that's the name of the book there, and kind of interesting. And at a speaking event for the soccer team, the Washington Spirit, News Nation, Paula Froelich reported. Now, Spizak, this is Katie Jo Spizak, is 41 years old, and Claire Shipman, they said, is 62 years old. What is it kind of a spread is that? That is, should I say spread in this country? What kind of a spread is that? That is that's a spread of 21 years, isn't it? That's an age difference of 21 years. But it turns out, and I read this yesterday, and I said, well, wait a minute, I had to go back. Hey, Katie Jo Spizak is a lady soccer player. That's not a man soccer player. That's a lady soccer player. And the team, what's the team called? The Washington Spirit. Is that the name of the team? See, because isn't that amazing? So turns out that the nice lady, mother of two, was married to Jay Kearney, the White House press secretary during the Obama administration, and they got divorced just last year. But it says that the two Lovebirds met in 2021, but they weren't divorced, Jay Kearney and Claire Shipman, until 2025. So it's possible there might have been a little hanky-panky. That's always been a ridiculous term, hanky-panky, hasn't it? Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I'm telling you. So she was, and it says right here that Katie Jo Spizak was working for the team's front office, when she was speaking for the Washington Spirit, or speaking to the team, the Washington Spirit. Claire Shipman, 62, was previously married to Jay Kearney, White House press secretary under President Barack Obama, now the head of global policy and communications at Airbnb. The couple have two children, and apparently Jay Kearney, 60 years old, 2 years younger than Claire Shipman, believed to be in a serious relationship with an unnamed woman. Well, they all love women, so they got a lot in common. They got that going for us. But apparently the Claire Shipman, Jay Kearney marriage went so well, honestly, over the course of 27 years and 2 kids, that Claire was off from 2021 forward with a woman soccer player. And Jay Kearney made such an impression that she decided she'd try women. Because, I got to say, I know another guy who was married to a woman, and his woman up and left him for another woman. My boy, that's got to sting, huh? That's got to be a weird thing, and this one is a little weird too. So Jay Kearney apparently in a serious relationship with an unnamed woman, which is pretty good. So there it is. So congratulations to Claire Shipman. Here's a picture of the nice lady. Here's she looks like she was a professional soccer player lady, I've got to say. Isn't that amazing? And Claire Shipman, ABC's Good Morning America for 15 years, senior correspondent and all that stuff. So, hey, muzzle tough. And again, I got to say, it's like wishing Oliver North and Fawn Hall happiness, because Colonel Oliver North and Fawn Hall, famous Fawn Hall, got married a couple of weeks ago in Virginia as well. Isn't that fascinating? That's kind of an interesting set of circumstances as well. Now, we've got a lot to talk about today because of crime and mayhem and murder and mentally ill people. Democrats out there stabbing, and they got another guy. The Democrats started a GoFundMe page for the man who murdered a Ukrainian refugee woman, a 23-year-old woman. And now I guess GoFundMe took down the GoFundMe page. But this is a fascinating story out of Charlotte, North Carolina, where the career criminal, at least 14 arrests, a schizophrenic who his mother wanted him involuntarily institutionalized. And the Democrats said, no, let's put him on the street. What's the worst thing that could happen? And then you look at the video of the worst thing that could happen. And the Democrats are just not the good guys of the story everywhere you look. And with that said, I've got audio in the news media. If you bring it up, you're a racist, according to CNN and the rest of the news media. But right now, I want to go to the telephones. Let's go to the phones, Michael. Let's go to Daryl, calling from beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Daryl, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris. I'm extremely nervous and a first-time caller, but I've been sitting back and thinking of this idea for a long time. The Veterans Administration is so poorly ran, and there's over 400,000 employees. Why couldn't they just give all the veterans a TRICARE card and let them go to a doctor of their choice? And I believe there's about 170 hospitals around the country for veterans. They could start using those facilities immediately for the mental health problems we have in this country.
Well, we've certainly, Daryl, got to do something about mental health, but I think that Barack Obama and the Obama administration, when Jay Kearney was press secretary, they fixed health care in America, Daryl, with Obamacare, and now it's all better.
Well, back in the 90s, Chris, they privatized the prisons, and they released all the mentally ill people, and they said, well, if they go out there and commit crimes, we'll just use the prison system to incarcerate them, right, put heads in beds.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're 100% right about that, Daryl. You are. We emptied the mental institutions. We had a big one in Washington, D.C., threw everybody out on the street to fend for themselves. And after they murder somebody, then we put them in prison. And that's what we do with mentally ill people today, isn't it, Daryl?
It is. And the bureaucracy of the Veterans Administration of over 400,000 employees, you could size that down and save about $20 billion a year. Use that money in those VA hospitals for the mentally ill people, and you really wouldn't have to build an infrastructure because it's already there.
Daryl, I think you need to run for public office because you've got more ideas than just about any elected official in the United States of America. And people need to listen to you, Daryl, because we need to do something about this. And right now what we're doing is nothing about this. We throw our mentally ill people on the street. And really here, because Daryl, out of Charlotte, North Carolina, where this refugee from Ukraine was butchered savagely by a career criminal who's schizophrenic and mentally ill, whose mother wanted him institutionalized. Wait till you hear this. Wait till you hear the news media responding to this. That is coming up.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Are your patients asking you questions, perhaps about managing their treatment, or maybe about making a change? Now is the time to talk to your patients. Now is the time to talk about Dovato. Dovato, a combination of dolutegravir and lamivudine, is a treatment option with 2 medicines in 1 pill. Visit DovatoHCP.com to learn more today and to access full prescribing information, including boxed warning. This ad is for U.S. healthcare professionals and brought to you by ViiV Healthcare.
This ad is brought to you by GSK. Have you considered starting Ojjaara momelotinib for your appropriate patients? Review the efficacy of Ojjaara, including data from our head-to-head trials, Simplify-1 and Momentum, at startojjaara.com. That's startojjaara.com.
Get ready. The biggest sale in the history of Rent-A-Center is here. From September 7th through the 13th, take 50% off everything in the store or online and get our biggest savings ever. 50% off offer reduces the total amount necessary to acquire ownership pursuant to rental purchase agreement. Offer valid on new agreements entered into September 7, 2025 for participating locations only.
But I don't want to get a flu shot.
You don't want to get the flu again. It's just a teensy little poke. Hi guys, I know you don't like needles, so I brought Fuzzy.
What is that?
It's a device that uses vibration and ice to help take the sting out of shots.
See, hun, that wasn't so bad.
Wait, you did it already?
Yep, Fuzzy helps. And Kinney is the only pharmacy that has him.
I'm going to tell everyone I know.
Great. They can schedule online at KinneyDrugs.com.
Our Q4 roadmap includes omni-channel branding.
This season, it's not about their rules. Lucky Rebels taking the odds back from the city.
Fucking can't stand you.
So rebels like you can make your own rules. When it's 4th and long, you're not made to punt. Bet the way you live, like a rebel. Join the rebellion and get a $1,250 bonus at luckyrebel.la.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and 0 weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code TASTE to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code TASTE.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meter beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in
Check this fucking Scott Canning out in fucking Vegas. Check Scott Canning out there. Oh, American. Well, yeah, how about your girlfriend? She's an American, you stupid fucker. It's open season on you, Wiggin. Time to pay. What are you going to do, Wiggin? Wiggin, what are you going to do to me? The fuck are you going to do, Wiggin? You gonna keep recording me and sitting on your fucking in your chat and crying about me and who's in my chat and how I do things here? Wiggin? Now he's saying I wasn't talking about HG. Canning, you're just a fucking clown. Fucking illiterate fucking clown. I don't think you ever advanced in any of your fucking jobs you had. No fucking way. What a dumb fucker you are, Scott Canning.
The bad guy. All right, but they do not like Officer Derek Chauvin, who was stabbed 22 times in prison by a Democrat. George Floyd, a hero of the Democrat Party, beatification, deification by the Democrat Party. They're really something. You know, the Democrats, they love Luigi Mangione, and they don't care at all about the man that he murdered, the CEO, healthcare CEO that he murdered, Brian Thompson, a husband and father of two. He doesn't become George Floyd in our cultural discussion. Only George Floyd becomes George Floyd because of the Democrats. And now the Democrats have DeCarlos Brown, who savagely butchered Irina Zarutska. She's now murdered savagely on a public train in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the Democrats, they're big fans of the murderer. They set up a GoFundMe page for the murder. I believe they set up a GoFundMe page for Luigi Mangione, too. They love Luigi Mangione. On trial today, back in court today, is Ryan Ruth, who tried to shoot and kill President Trump at his golf course in Florida. His son couldn't be with him in court yesterday because his son, Oron, is in prison for child porn because it's a Democrat family. And, you know, Sean Charles Dunn, who threw the sandwich at the federal law enforcement officer in Washington a few weeks ago now, they've got posters of him up around the city making him into a hero because they like crime. They want more crime, more assaults on federal officers, just like they put Dzhokhar Tsarnaev of the Boston Marathon bombing on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. They've got posters around the city of Sean Charles Dunn throwing a sandwich like he's a football hero. And, of course, the Democrat grand jury declined to indict or to, you know, he was charged but then brought to the grand jury. And Washington, D.C., Democrats only grand jury. Speaking of which, I have jury duty next week. Next week, I have jury. I think on Wednesday I have jury duty. And so I won't be here on Wednesday, but I got a note from my doctor. It's jury duty. The Democrat Party, they love Ryan Ruth and Luigi Mangione and George Floyd, and they love Dzhokhar Tsarnaev and cover of Rolling Stone. They love Sean Charles Dunn assaulting police officers. The Democrat Party, I think, is going to have to be declared a criminal enterprise pretty soon. And I'm still betting money that Phillies Karen lady that stole the baseball from the little kid who was there to celebrate his birthday at the baseball stadium. His dad got him the ball. I'm guessing she's an activist Democrat, too. We still don't know her name, but I'm pretty sure that she's a Democrat. Oh, yeah, well, we've got a lot, including Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. She is a real piece of work. And she informs that the police are not out there. She's talking about President Trump trying to fight crime and putting law enforcement on the street. She says law enforcement is not about stopping crime, preventing crime. It's law enforcement needs to wait until the murder has been committed, and then the police should see if they can arrest the criminal after the crime is committed. She thinks there should be a lot of crime, and then the police should maybe do something about it after the fact, because that's her. And isn't that amazing? All right, so let me see. Let's go. Where do the starts at number 7? Starts at number 7, and we've got this crazy people now. President Trump talking about fighting crime, fighting against crime and against criminals, because he's against crime and the Democrat Party, they're for crime. President Trump was talking about the young Ukrainian woman butchered by the career criminal, mentally ill, schizophrenic psychopath. And I want to share that with you. Also, the Transportation Secretary, interestingly, Sean Duffy, former member of the House of Representatives, he was asked about it as well. I got to say, Charlie Kirk, the great Charlie Kirk, he's on the case too. Pretty amazing stuff. And then we got the communist, Van Jones. Haven't heard from the communist in a while. Van Jones, I got seltzer water. I got a lot for you coming up.
This is the Chris Plant Show. WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 10:30. I'm John Matthews. At this hour, an organized walkout at 4 local universities is now underway as students protest the presence of the National Guard troops in D.C. Students from American, Georgetown, GW, and Howard taking part. They argue that what they call the federal takeover is unconstitutional and dangerous. They're having to walk out now because they were on summer break when the Guard troops first got here. The U.S. job market much weaker last year through March of this year than originally thought, adding to concerns about the health of the economy. The Labor Department reports employers added 911,000 fewer jobs than originally reported over that span. Ford is recalling nearly 1.5 million vehicles in the U.S. because the rear view camera may show a blank or distorted image while the vehicle's in reverse, increasing the risk of a crash. Traffic and weather next.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting Saturday starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging and replacement, batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Steve Wilshire in the Hadid Traffic Traffic Center.
North Fairfax County southbound on the Fairfax County Parkway. Just before Route 29, there was an overturned vehicle in the roadway in delays that begin at I-66. Very heavy and slow to get past that incident now. Westbound on 66 before Spout Road Parkway in Arlington, the left lane is closed with construction causing delays leaving the Roslyn Tunnel. Outer loop at the Beltway, very slow. Old Georgetown Road to the construction. Before the George Washington Parkway, the left lane is closed. 270 Spur is slow from Democracy Boulevard to join that slow traffic on the outer loop. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Sunny and pleasant again today with a high of 78. It is 69 at Reagan National. John Matthews, News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a leaf filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/day to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/day for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Get ready. The biggest sale in the history of Rent-A-Center is here. From September 7th through the 13th, take 50% off everything in the store or online and get our biggest savings ever. 50% off offer reduces the total amount necessary to acquire ownership pursuant to rental purchase agreement. Offer valid on new agreements entered into September 7, 2025 through September 13, 2025. Participating locations only.
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code TASTE to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code TASTE.
WMAL, making sense of social media because big tech can't be trusted. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Now, I also want to get to another story. They were talking about crime and mayhem, and the Democrats say there's nothing to see here. There's no crime problem in the United States. Remember Michael Brown, hands up, don't shoot. I still have my hands up, don't shoot T-shirt at home that I got at a Black Lives Matter march in Washington, D.C. I think there were 2 killings at the march. Not really. I just know, but a little later in the day. Well, Michael Brown, remember the 6'5", 295-pound, 18-year-old Michael Brown was with his friend Dorian Johnson when they went into a mini mart and robbed the place of the things they wanted, big old cigarillos, which they then rolled the tobacco out of it, filled them with pot. The Washington Post said that there was so much THC in Michael Brown's bloodstream that he might have been hallucinating, which is, I think, impossible, but the Washington Post reported that anyway. And Dorian, then Michael Brown, he attacked the police officer. What was his name? Darren Wilson. Darren Wilson. I got to remember the team players here. And Michael Brown, 6'5", 295-pound, 18-year-old, could have been in the Marine Corps, but he wasn't. He was robbing a poor little immigrant man in strong-arm robbery style and stealing stuff from his mini-mart so he could make giant joints so he could get more stoned so he could be a deadbeat. And walking down the middle of the street, police officer said, what are you guys doing? And he attacked Officer Darren Wilson, who I believe has had to flee the country because of the danger posed by the Democratic Party. But Darren Wilson approached Michael Brown and Dorian Johnson. Michael Brown attacked Officer Wilson in his car, shots fired, and the young Michael Brown was tragically killed, and he was tragically killed. And then his friend Dorian Johnson became the hero of the story because the news media presented him as the survivor, like of a police holocaust. There are more people killed in lightning strikes in the United States every year than there are black men killed by the police while unarmed. Literally true. I did the research myself. More people killed in lightning strikes. But Dorian Johnson became the hero of the story, and he's an African-American man as well, like Michael Brown was. And the police officer was a white guy, and the Democrats racialized it naturally because they're the party of the Confederate States of America and Jim Crow. But here is Dorian Johnson in that time. And remember, he's the one who came out and said, oh, yeah, Michael Brown put his hands up, and hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. Everything was a lie from Dorian Johnson. None of it was true, and it led to riots and undoubtedly murders because, how they like to kill people.
I'm watching the officer. He's pursuing my friend now. Then he fired another shot. It struck my friend in the back.
Lie.
Then my friend stopped running.
Lie.
His hands immediately went in the air, and he turned around towards the officer face to face.
Lie.
He started to tell the officer that he was unarmed and that you should stop shooting me. Before he can get his second sentence out, the officer fired several more shots into his head and chest area, and he fell dramatically in the fetal position. In the
fetal position, it's the public school education. I have an update, Fred. Is that all we have of Dorian? We have one more of Dorian, because Dorian, he came out with the hands up, don't shoot lie, and it was a giant lie. And a whole Democrat Party movement, a violent criminal movement, was built instantly overnight based on Dorian Johnson's fatuous lie. And all the neighbors came out, and they're all black, and they said, yeah, we saw what happened. He attacked the police officer. The fingerprints, the blood pattern inside the door of the car all made it clear that giant Michael Brown attacked the police officer while he was in his car. Police officer was seated in his car, grabbed the police officer's gun, and all the evidence, all the investigation, and the eyewitness testimony proved all that, except Dorian Johnson lied about everything and made up this ridiculous hands up, don't shoot BS.
Mike's hands are filled with cigarillos, because we have cigarillos in our hands. So his hands are filled. His hands are not free. His hands are filled.
You just stole them all from the mini mart where the legal immigrant was trying to make his way in America. And you criminal thugs came in and strong-armed him and pushed him around and stole the cigarillos, which you used to make big, fat joints to get more stoned, right? Well, I have an update because this popped yesterday. Friend of Michael Brown, who helped spark hands up, don't shoot chant, dies after being shot in Ferguson. Remember, that was all in Ferguson, Missouri, right? And the St. Louis Press, Dorian Johnson, witness to Michael Brown's death, killed in Ferguson. Boy, and KSDK. Ferguson police, Dorian Johnson, witness to Michael Brown shooting, killed Sunday, day before yesterday, killed Sunday morning. Dorian Johnson, 33, was shot, the 9,000 block of Abaco Drive. Abaco, I've been to an island in the Bahamas called Abaco Island, have kind of family there. Abaco Island. He was taken to an area hospital where he died. Police on Sunday said the man who was with Michael Brown when he was fatally shot by a Ferguson police officer in August of 2014, think about that for a minute, was killed earlier in the day. Ferguson Police Department spokesperson, gender generic, said officers responded about 8:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, should be in church, to a call for shots fired in the 9,000 block of Abaco Drive. They found Dorian Johnson, 33, had been shot. He was taken to an area hospital where he died. Police took one person into custody, not a Republican, not a white supremacist, and applied for charges. The St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office spokesperson for the Prosecuting Attorney's Office said the person was released after no criminal charges were filed within 24 hours, a maximum holding time. So here's the guy, again, Democrat-run place as well. We arrested him for shooting and killing a once kind of famous person who was hanging out with Michael Brown and Dorian Johnson, and he came up with the big lie about hands up, don't shoot. Now, he should have been shot and killed. We arrested somebody, but we're going to let him go because, there you go. So, police took one person into custody, right? And they applied for charges. I assume that means they charged him. But the charges were then not filed within 24 hours, so they let him go. Isn't that amazing? Spokesperson said the incident appeared to be a domestic incident in nature, and the suspected shooter made a claim of self-defense. So apparently that's why there were no charges. Because, hey, it's yeah, sure, I shot him, but he was attacking me because he's a career criminal. Did he have his hands up? I got to ask, did he have his hands up? Because hands up, don't shoot. I'm going to go find my T-shirt. I wore it a few weeks ago, actually. My hands up, don't shoot T-shirt. It's kind of a fun T-shirt. It's a historical marker on the road, isn't it? The investigation remains ongoing. Ferguson Police Department is engaged in an ongoing consultation with St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office on possible charges. So it sounds like they have the guy, and they're not charging him because he said it's self-defense. There were initially rumors that police were involved in the shooting. Sure, because there are Democrats around. But those were false, fake news. Department spokesperson Pat Washington said, it's Pat, that's why it says spokesperson. Is it a man, Pat, or a lady, Pat? We may never know. The location where Johnson was shot was about 1,000 feet northeast of Canfield Drive, where Michael Brown was killed 11 years ago. He didn't go very far, doesn't stray far from home. Johnson and Brown were walking in the street when the officer confronted them. The officer shot and killed Brown, who was unarmed, following a scuffle while he was trying to strip the police officer of his firearm, as the investigation showed. But never mind that. Brown's death led to sometimes violent protests in Ferguson and other U.S. cities. Democrats rioted and looted and burned police cars and attacked police stations and attacked the police. And then the investigation found that the oversized Michael Brown attacked the police officer, Darren Wilson, in his vehicle. And I think Darren Wilson had to move to Scandinavia or something because the Democrats had all vowed to murder him because that's what they do. So they led to sometimes violent protests, Ferguson and other U.S. cities, spawning a national Black Lives Matter movement seeking changes and how police deal with minorities. Stop robbing people and attacking and assaulting the police. That'd be a good start. You know, every one of these videos you see of the police scuffling with people, it's always the people attacking and assaulting the police. Have you noticed that? And if you see somebody, when the police officer says, get out of the car, put your hands on top of your head, if that's what they do, then there's never any scuffle. Have you noticed that? Kind of an amazing thing. Democrats. Yes, sir. In 2015, Dorian Johnson, filed a lawsuit against the city of Ferguson, former police chief Thomas Jackson, and the officer who shot Brown, alleging that his civil rights were violated. The suit was dismissed by both parties last year. Please to ask anyone with information of the shooting of Dorian Johnson to give him a call. Give him a call on the phone. Pick up the phone, give him a call. So Dorian Johnson, 33 years old. It was 11 years ago. Now, Michael Brown, hands up, don't shoot. The Democrats started their radical racist movement, their racially divisive anti-police movement. And that's it. Now, we've got a new one on our hands today because a black guy with a long criminal history and a history of schizophrenia and mental illness, according to his own mother, butchered and savagely murdered a young woman, 23 years old, who was a refugee from the war in Ukraine. And the Democrats, they got Ukrainian flags in their front yard. But now they're rooting for the murderer who murdered the 23-year-old Ukrainian woman who poses in pictures and bikinis and stuff and lovely and all that good stuff. But President Trump was asked about it yesterday, and he said, wow, and he might have seen the video of and it's a black guy who murders this white woman, Ukrainian woman, on a public train in Charlotte, North Carolina over the weekend. And it's a savage murder and pointless and just out of the blue. A mentally ill career criminal who the Democrats keep putting back on the street. And here's President Trump on the subject yesterday.
There are evil people, and we have to confront that. I just give my love and hope to the family of the young woman who was stabbed this morning or last night in Charlotte by a madman, a lunatic, just got up and started. It's right on the tape. We're going to get to the end of it. And, you know, when you have horrible killings, you have to take horrible actions.
Honestly, it is, you know, there are terrible things happening. And the Democrats are always on the side of the murderer. They're genuinely always on the side of the murderer. You know, Ryan Ruth, he's in court today, jury selection in Florida. He tried to assassinate President Trump on the golf course. He's a Democrat. His son, Oran, couldn't make it to the legal proceedings yesterday because he's in prison for child porn. Luigi Mangione murdered healthcare insurance CEO Brian Thompson on a sidewalk in New York. Luigi Mangione is a hero of the Democratic Party. They put him in magazines and they put up posters of him. They want their daughters to date him. He's a murderer. George Floyd, of course, attacking the place and robbing with counterfeit bills. Another immigrant trying to make his way in the world, running a store in Minneapolis. And George Floyd resisting arrest once again, assaulting police officer Derek Chauvin. Isn't that amazing? Derek Chauvin stabbed 22 times once the Democrats put him in prison. Joker Zarnaev of the Boston Marathon bombing on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. Isn't that amazing? The Democrat Party. The Secretary of the Department of Transportation is Sean Duffy, a former member of the House of Representatives, father of nine children. And Sean Duffy was on the television on the Fox News Channel. He asked about it. Said, well, look, they had video cameras on this train in Charlotte, but no security. They do have police associated with the Charleston Transit Authority, but apparently they don't use them. And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was asked about that. They have like a Metro Police unit, but they don't use them.
I can't pull money today from their transit system. I actually have to do an investigation. That's what the law requires. We start that investigation tomorrow, and I guarantee all your viewers that if I find what I think I'm going to find, they're not going to have your federal tax dollars going to their public transportation system. Zero, none, nada.
They're not going to have. That's what they're not going to have. Womp, womp, womp. Now, you know that our good friends at GenericCBD.com. Do you know these good people at GenericCBD.com? They love us. They sponsor our big radio broadcast. Well, today, they've got something very special for you. They've got a free sample of Generic CBD's best-selling CBD Muscle and Joint Cream. And if you haven't tried it, listen, it's amazing. It's so powerful that 2 or 3 drops might be all that you need. It melts right into your stiff, aching hands, your knuckles, your knees, your neck, even your back. Goes to work in a matter of seconds, and it feels so fantastic. The relief can last for hours as well. Plus, listen, this stuff at CBD, I know it contains 0 THC, none of that tetrahydrocannabinol, no THC in there. It's pure CBD. Pain. You don't need a prescription for it. You try it right now, and they'll send you not 1, but 2 free samples. That's 2 full treatments. So you keep one for yourself, give one to your best girl. You know, they ask you that you pay $2 to help with the shipping, but that is all. And it'd be the best $2 you spend all year. Get your free samples from Generic CBD. Listen now, at yourfreesample.com. That's yourfreesample.com. You're going to love it. That's yourfreesample.com. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease or illness. Yes, sir. Yeah, wait till you hear Charlie Kirk, a good American, raise questions about the stabbing of this Ukrainian refugee. And wait till you hear the left-wing media respond to him.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Our Q4 roadmap includes omni-channel
This season, it's not about their rules. Lucky Rebels taking the odds back from the suits. So rebels like you can make your own rules. When it's 4th and long, you're not made to punt. Bet the way you live, like a rebel. Join the rebellion and get a $1,250 bonus at LuckyRebel.com.
Oh, what are you going to do? Take me back to your
It's
place?
Sunshine Savings at Widget Auto Sales, a used car leader. Plenty of late model vehicles, low miles on the
You
lot
want
right
me to
now.
ride on the back of that
2016
fucking thing?
Lincoln MKX, only $15,999, or a 2020 Acura TLX.
I'm live right
Beautiful.
now, by the
Low
way.
miles, just $27,999.
So I guess I'm going to have to end it.
Toyota 4Runner,
All right, a second, I gotta go get my hair
59,000
cut.
would look perfect in your driveway.
Wayne had
hey,
3
the sun
people
is
there.
shining at Widget
Yeah.
Auto Sales and out of Washington Street. And see them online at
Come steal your joint.
widgetautosales.com. The used car leader.
home services can sound a lot like
What's up, Wigan, you bitch?
I don't know if he's listening or not. He might be. I got 7 people
but
watching.
what people don't hear is
You have 47 new voicemails.
You see, you're just going to go get your hair cut. That'll give me enough time to get cleaned up and dressed.
Yeah, it's fucking. It takes forever to cut hair, and there's 3 people there, so.
Fuck, I could cut your hair.
I like it cut a certain way.
Well, I could. That was one of my collateral duties when I was in the Navy. I went to barber school.
Hello?
Barber Class C school in Norfolk, Virginia at the Naval Training Center. Bye, Charlie. I'm leaving. My nephew's here, and I'm going to get the Suzuki, so fuck you guys. I'll be gone rest of the afternoon. Bye.